Dave Palumbo here with an RX Muscle news update. As reported this past weekend, Hafthor Bjornsson, the Mountain, set the world record in the deadlift. Not an official record in terms of powerlifting because he uses straps, but he broke Eddie Hall's record where Eddie used straps as well. I guess you would call it a world strongman record. He lifted over 1,100 pounds off the floor in his home gym. Eddie Hall called out Bjornsson and said that it really wasn't a record since it wasn't set in competition. There's been a feud raging with those guys since 2017 when Eddie Hall won the World's Strongest Man competition by like 1 point. Hafthor claims that he was disqualified or penalized on some event, and they stole the title from him. He should have had it then. He went on to win it the following year. There's been beef between those guys ever since. Hall set that deadlift record back in 2016, and a lot of people felt it would never be broken. 500 kilograms over, it's 1,100 pounds around there. And Hafthor was planning on beating that record at competition, but obviously because of the quarantine, he decided he couldn't do it, so he was going to still attempt the record. He did it at his home gym with an official there, but not in competition. So there's a lot of did he, didn't he? Did he, didn't he? That's up for debate. But at the end of the video, he actually threw out like a statement, which I thought was kind of weird. I thought he was challenging him to another deadlift competition, and he was actually challenging Eddie Hall to a fight, which I thought it was almost a joke. Turns out Hafthor works for Core Sports, or works as an athlete with them, and they're willing to put up 7 figures. That's over $1 million for each guy. Hafthor signed the contract. Eddie Hall followed suit, signed the contract. The fight is set as the heaviest heavyweight boxing match of all time. Hafthor being over 400 and something pounds, like 20 pounds, and Eddie Hall in the 370s around there. I mean, these guys are pretty damn big. And they're supposed to fight in Las Vegas in 2021. So that's quite a ways off. I think it was September 2021. So we have over a year to kind of build up this hype. The Mountain says that he will be dedicating all his training now towards fighting, as opposed to the strongman. I don't know. I guess I would assume Eddie Hall would be doing the same. These guys obviously want to beat each other's asses. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. They don't like each other, but over $1 million to each guy. I don't think many people would not go into the ring. Although I don't know if I'd want to get into the ring with the Mountain. Or Eddie Hall for that matter, for any amount of money, because someone's going to get seriously hurt. Now, the question is it going to be like the WWE style exhibition, you throw me, I throw you, we entertain the audience, or is this going to be an all-out real fight? That's the question that we don't know. Now, boxing sounds better than MMA. MMA, I might say it might be, it could be a little rigged, but boxing is, that sounds legitimate. There's rules and stuff like that. They can't just go out and start beating the piss out of each other in terms of cheating and poking each other in the eye and elbows. So I think the fact that it's going to be a boxing match, at least that's what I'm led to believe, tells me that it could be a legitimate fight. And who doesn't want to watch 2 big guys brawl that really don't like each other very much, and who both lay claim to saying that they have the best deadlift record in the entire world, both the world's strongest men. I think Hafthor is a little more accomplished, than Eddie in the world's strongest man arena. But let's face it, this is something we all want to see. I'd love to see some top bodybuilders fight each other in the ring. I wish there was some companies putting up 7 figures for that. I mean, who wouldn't want to see that, right? I'd like to see, I would like to see Dorian fight, Sean Ray or something like that, or something Nasser versus someone back in the day. I mean, that would have been hysterical, even if the guy just didn't know how to fight. Just to see big guys, scrapping it up in the ring. I think that's why we all loved back in the day Bob Sapp. I mean, he was a good friend of mine, and the guy was like a monster, 360 pounds, 6'7". I mean, you wanted to see him just go after these MMA guys, and he did pretty good early in his career because he was just enormous and had so much weight behind him. So looks like it's going to happen. You know, someone pulled it off. I don't know where they raised the money for it, but I have a feeling that people will pay I'll pay money to see that fight any day of the week. I'll pay pay-per-view, whatever it is. I want to see these guys go at it with each other. Hopefully I can get them on the show, maybe even in an iron debate scenario at the same time to argue with each other or something like that and then talk some smack. If not, you know, maybe individually, because look, not much exciting stuff goes on in our sport. The strongmen are way more entertaining than the powerlifters and or the bodybuilders, that's for sure. But when something like this goes down, hey, you got to report on it. We want to see what's going to happen. I consider anyone who lifts weights in our iron sport. They're brothers in iron, and I think that interests me because it's our sport. You know, all these guys. Look, anyone who works out with weights hits a double bicep in the mirror from time to time. I don't care who you are. You don't have to be on a bodybuilding stage, but it's all bodybuilding, right, when it comes down to it. So congratulations to Hafthor on setting that record. Will it be official? We'll have to find out. Congratulations to Eddie Hall on signing that 7-figure contract. And I'm glad you both are going to make a lot of money, but you better entertain us. All right, I'm Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle News Update.